Yes. Or I shouldn't say yes, man. I should be saying no to this one over here. So let's get right into it, man. Welcome to Last Call Reacts. This is where about once a week I just highlight a video or something going on in the news, social, current events that people are talking about that sort of nags in the back of my brain. And I feel like I should give a few words about it. And this is the one that's most prevalent this week. And I know you've seen it, know you heard it. So let's go right into it. And I'm talking about the Bafta Awards and the yelling of a racial slur conveniently at the time when two prominent, successful Black men are presenting an award. And there's a couple schools of thought with this as well. Some that fall on the line of sympathetic for the venue, sympathetic for the person who yelled the slur, but very little towards the two presenters. And I'm just going to go right ahead and play this for a minute, give you a few thoughts. By the way, this morning, I was chilling in the Be Easy podcast. I'm going to put his link in here, and he covered this in full depth. I'm talking like an hour and 10 minutes worth of good stuff where he really goes into in-depth stuff, which I'm going to touch on. I'll leave his link in there too, because it's definitely worth a view here. Just let me play a little bit of this for a minute.
BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate the artists who expand.
Yeah, there's a few more.
All right. So I'm using a couple different sources and stuff in here. So we saw here the presentation. Mind you, this is these are the first presenters of the night here. We see Michael B. Jordan and we see Delroy Lindo, both by this time very established and successful actors and basically people in Hollywood. If you're looking at this picture here in the background, yes, this is an example of Black excellence. But before we even get into anything else, I want you even close your eyes and picture this. This month, it is still Black History Month. So many things have happened during the month. I even wanted to make a video of a lot. We have university professors saying open racist stuff in Zoom calls. We have 2 30-year-old guys by the name of Michael trying to light a Black woman's boots on fire. We've had the president disseminate terrible images of and provoking and instigating a former president. And for what? For what? We see this disgusting behavior and time after time again. It is the one group in this particular case, it's the Black people who have to absorb the pain, who have to neutralize the anger, and basically, lack of better words, take it on the chin to appease other groups for their understanding. Now we see these two men up here after a successful year, a picture, a project, world renowned, respected by everybody in the business and outside of the business, viewers and supporters alike. Now again, close your eyes and picture yourself at one of your most prestigious, profound, and excellent moments. And as you're up there at whatever it is that you do, you hear the one word, and this word, it is directly racial. It is directly a historically toxic word. It cuts to the bone, this so-called N-word, right? At your prime moment, not even in your country, out on the global stage, presenting, and you get this word thrown at you. It's disgusting. Take everything else away. And I'm going to get into the response here in just a minute, but take everything else away. Take away the criticisms right now. Take away whatever side you're on. But just picture that. You're at one of the highest moments in your career, and somebody yells that. Now, We know that this person suffers from a condition called Tourette's, which the spectrum on that is wide. There's physical, there's verbal triggers and everything as well. But there's the other parts of this that make everything else questionable, like the 2, 3, 4, 5 other outbursts that this person had, and they were edited from BAFTA. But for some reason, with time to edit, time to reconsider, time to address this, they didn't. One of the things that I do like about this moment between these two, and this is a good representation of these two, I like to see the difference of the generations. Although we know Michael B. Jordan, lifetime actor, I believe a soap opera, where he was probably first introduced, some other movie roles, but even particularly The Wire that he was on. So even though at his younger age there, he has a very established career. Delroy Lindo also has a great career, and Sinners was a great notch on his belt to have as well. Now, when this thing was yelled, we see the difference of, there's a few things that I kind of liked here between the two. We saw mentorship. We saw leadership. Michael B. Jordan he was stunned, as you should be, but maybe haven't experienced everything that Delroy Lindo has experienced during his career as well. We saw Michael B. Jordan sort of stuck like a deer in the headlights, and that's not a shot at him. I mean, who would expect something like that to happen, right? But we saw the leadership of an older generation keep his poise, and I want you to hear his voice kind of raise to recapture the moment that almost got away from them. I think it's worthy to play it back. Watch the expression and Lindo take over. It's really this 7-second clip is an extraordinary example of leadership, camaraderie, like, I got this for us. Don't let that take away from the moment. We're going to continue.
For a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate the artists who expand.
And yeah, there's a few more outbursts.
Yeah, you could tell on both that they were bothered, surprised, and shocked by that. But it didn't stop the flow. And that's what excellence is in this condition. Now, I hope that switched over here and you guys are hearing. Hopefully I got the permission to show all this stuff and they don't cut it out for you guys. Here's a little bit of a video.
The BBC and the British Academy Film Awards, BAFTA, both issued apologies today after broadcasting racial slurs shouted during yesterday's award show. It happened while two prominent black actors, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, were on stage. While the awards host apologized live, the full show, including the uncensored slur, remained briefly available to watch even after the broadcast. Now, the slur was shouted by John Davidson. He's a Tourette syndrome campaigner who was at the ceremony for the movie I Swear, which is inspired by his challenges living with Tourette's. Davidson has since apologized, saying he was deeply mortified and that his tics are not reflective of him or his beliefs.
That's great. But they kind of dug into his past a little bit, and it very well may represent some of his beliefs, but that's neither here or there for me. Management and leadership kicks in where it's needed and when it's needed. The organizers of the events showed a deliberate choice to leave that alone and air the racial segment, but not just the racial segment towards Black people. And that's what's so confusing to everybody, or anybody who sympathizes with the case, but particularly the people who it has offended. We had Amanda Seales speaking on it saying, I would have got up and left, but that's the after sight in hindsight, everything is 2020 for what you should have done and how people should have reacted and everything. Jamie Foxx, some prominent people stepped up, and we're my concern here is that we're confusing some of the items. You know what I truly believe in this case? You know what I truly believe? That if it were handled properly, if it was maybe bleeped out in a proper apology, not an apology that says if you were offended, the apology taking ownership. Now on Be Easy's platform, he showed an interview that I haven't seen, and that was with what the hell's his name? Piers Morgan. Never really too cared for the guy. Once in a while, I gave him credit for getting to the issues and maybe starting to ask the right questions. But on his panel, on his show, he's outright ignoring any of the racial components, completely sympathetic to this person, saying, resorting back to the video, I swear, which also explains that you don't have to apologize for having the syndrome, which again is muddying up the argument. Nobody's saying that this isn't a disease, that it isn't inconvenient, that some of the people that have it don't suffer in different sorts of ways with it. But again, we got to go back to why was he mic'd up if they knew? Why was he seated there? And then the question that goes a little bit deeper is what in his growing up, in his ingredients, you know, you see black people and you see N-word comes to your mind. So something like that in his past or in his belief triggers that, because you don't just see a picture of a bunny rabbit and then say something derogatory to it. He has an association with people, this name, and the colors as well. And that should not be excused. And like I was saying before, black people are very, maybe sometimes too forgiving, that if this were handled right, and it was maybe just a blurb in the paper that this thing happened at the Bafta Awards, and we had this guy, and he had Tourette's, and while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were up there, he screamed the N-word. It wasn't personal. He has triggers. BAFTA decided to edit it out because of how offensive it was. And, you know, life continues. Black people really would not harp on the issues if it were managed properly. If it were managed, we can't subdue and push people down and say, forget about your offense, just to lift other people. One person, but he represents many others, but he was the one representing that night, to make him feel better. That organization of BAFTA really fumbled the ball here to make a teachable moment, a learnable moment for people. Because if this happened here at an award show, you could be at the line at the DMV, you could be at goddamn McDonald's or a restaurant or something like that. How are you good? Oh, it's okay. You have Tourette's? No. If I were in the restaurant, you know what? You have Tourette's. Apologize for using the word, even though it wasn't against me like that, which, you know, is a little bit questionable if I'm a black guy or whatever in the restaurant, you know. Apologize. It's your condition. We could all go ahead with our lives. But when you start making excuses and stuff like that, ultimately, this isn't a 10-year-old boy. This is a grown man. Whatever you do, and you know that you're going to associate with other human beings when you leave your house, you are responsible for how you conduct yourself and whatever physically, vocally, you got an offensive smell, offensive language, whatever it is, you are responsible for neutralizing that when you go out in public. But saying that and saying that black people are offended, somehow people want to equate that with there's no sympathy for Tourette's. You don't understand how this thing works. We understand how this thing works. We understand that is a disability. That is something that may be difficult to live with. What we can't understand is why it's just brushed away at this group. Nobody else, if it were a Jewish slur, if it was a Spanish slur, if it was a sexual slur, which I believe there was on that night by him as well before he escorted his way out, that it wouldn't be acceptable then. In the background there, I got Be Easy's. And again, I'm going to post that for you guys to check out. It's about an hour and 10 minutes. And Be Easy really digs deep. I mean, you know, I don't mind giving props to other people that do good jobs and stuff, but this was like an exceptionally great job that he did going in there. And let me just see if I could forward it up a little bit. That's the panel. And Piers Morgan was very not only just disrespectful, but dismissive to any other opinions of this as well. Instead of getting us 100% to understand Tourette's and being sympathetic for, you know, this racial slur that you yelled out, why can't we all have a resolution that satisfies everybody and at the cost doesn't offend one group to highlight another? Because that's not right either. We need the accountability. You don't have to go around apologizing for everything of Tourette's. But if you're using such an explosive and derogatory word like that, which coincidentally has two black men presenting something, you got to examine the nuance of that. And I think that's the main word. The nuance needs to be examined, and everything doesn't have to be extinguished to the level of having no understanding for everybody. And that's kind of the thing that bothers me the most in here. It was offensive. In the future, black people have to have a uniform mentality that if stuff like that does happen, but again, there were a few outbursts, so nobody was walking out there on that. We're getting the privilege of seeing this days after, hours after it happened, and saying things that we could have done or should have done to alleviate any of the pressure or any of the offense by this one individual. Some people with Tourette's don't defend this guy. Some people without Tourette's defend this guy because they want to see more sympathetic. They want to see more liberal to it. Like, hey, this happens. But no, it's a very poisonous word, and that has to be addressed. Nobody's saying he can't have his tics, do that, the other. But in a case like this where it's so sensitive, where it's so prevalent that you said something like that at that exact moment, leaves a lot of questions. So this is still a discussion. I've been discussing it on panels damn near all week. And there's always sides to it. People are presenting their case. But one thing that almost everybody agrees on is that it should have been handled better by the organizers. So my question is this. Who gets fired? You want to make it right? Instead of doing some half-ass apology, and any other sort of organization, schools, any other awards. There was a question on the panel, Slander had asked, what if this award show happened in America? How do you think that would happen? Well, we know they wouldn't even air the word like that. And I believe for some of these things that we tiptoe around, this is one of the things that should not have been tiptoed around. A lot of things sway with mismanagement. So if there's not an example or a precedent set on this is how we're going to deal with this shit from now on, it leaves people in a privilege to ignore the nuances and the actual offense of said crime. So what do we do about it? We can't go and hate people with Tourette's. We can't go and hate this man who's gonna claim ignorance or just blame it on the Tourette's as well. So what do you do about it? I really want to hear constructive answers and critical thinking about this. Not you want to. I put it in one of my videos. You want to hear black fatigue? This is black fatigue. That at the highlight of your career, black tie event, top tier entertainment award, celebrating your accomplishments, that even doing that, and even Obama's doing nothing to have their face portrayed as primates still conjures up hate, conjures up a target towards these individuals as well. Why is that okay? And why could we not attack these issues? You can't walk out of your house and enjoy your success and then blame it on Tourette's. No, it's a system in place. There's ways that management could take care of that. And that's what's true leadership. So since BAFTA failed to have real leadership, what do we do about BAFTA? Somebody needs to take responsibility for this. There's been a couple apologies, loose apologies, not really poignant or meaningful apologies. Lindo and Jordan didn't even get a sincere apology that highlighted the concerns that I just mentioned, that in their moments, man, we invited you out to these things. You were the first presenters of the night. And this is what you're confronted with. Respect to those two Black men exemplifying Black excellence and leadership and unity at the moment and before and after. What do you say towards this? I wonder. This is just a look into it. We'll probably be going through this in my live. Come check myself out, Last Call, and Josephine the Chativist, as we discuss this and many other things Friday night at 9 p.m. Man, can't catch a break. What do you think? Last Call out. Last Call reacts. Peace.